Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Going to go over our trades for Thursday, July 24th. Busy day with the amount of trades as far as currencies go, but not a whole lot of action with the volatility. Not really much economic news. What came out? The big news this morning was new housing sales came out, which disappointed analyst estimates. That was at 10 a.m. Didn't really do all that much to the market either way. Again, most of the head traders are off their desks. The last 2 weeks of July, first 2 weeks of August, actually the remainder of the summer. So it'll be slow. You'll get your pockets of action here and there, and you just got to be able to try to take advantage of it. Until then, kind of tread water. Don't get beat up too much, and don't waste too much in commissions and whatever. So let's go over the trades. We had 6 trades, pulled out 4.2 pips. So really just spinning wheels here today. Let's see. First one you're looking at here is euro to Australian dollar. We were long this. Basically bought right in this consolidation range, looking for a pop out. Didn't happen. And once it took out these lows, it was your spot to get out. So we were risking basically close to 21 pips on the thing. And that's what it did. It took us out, because if not, you'd be looking at holding over about almost 70 pips down, and wondering if it's going to come back. So, it was the right. You got to set your limits and just take your losses when you get hit. You don't want to start this wishing and praying stuff. It's not our style. Euro yen, this trade, we had a signal to go short, 136.687, picked up 9.7 pips on it. Again, we get the signal to go short. It breaks out of this small little consolidation range, and it comes right to these bottoms here from, what was this, 2 days ago from the 22nd, also earlier in the day on the 23rd. So, perfect spot to get out. We got out, picked up 9.7 pips, chiseled away at that 20 pip loss, and consequently broke those bottoms and came right down here to this 136.40, which is this bottom here from yesterday. So definitely left some on the table there. Maybe the first trade being down almost 21 pips kind of dictated how we trade this one. Could have pieced out of it is the other thing to do. But this actually, we got hit overnight while we were sleeping. This was around 1 o'clock or midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. So you got to put your points in what profit you're willing to risk, or what profit you're willing to take, and move on. If you're watching it, maybe you piece out. I don't even know if we would have, considering the heavy not the heavy loss, but the 21 pip loss we took on the prior trade. Swiss franc to Japanese yen, short this 112.484. Very similar type trade. Came right to a consolidation area, or at least some bottoms. Same type of deal. This was in the middle of the night. We set our profit. Unfortunately, it was only 5.8 pips. About 6 pips, because it could hold here. It could have very easily held here and did this bounce. But as you see there, it didn't. It broke down and came in another 10 pips. We left some on the table, but again, we're not watching it. You don't want it to hold and bounce like this, and now you wake up and you got a loss, or you're stopped out, depending on where your stop is. Next one, Australian dollar, Japanese yen. We got a signal to go short. We had this big pop here, and then it was kind of messing around up at the top. We get the signal to go short, 96.085. Totally took the short. Reason why we got out here, you're coming to the figure, 96. You just had this big pop. You're up 5 pips. This area, these tops here, is the figure again. Could have very easily held the figure and started to rally, especially considering this big pop came with some good volume. So cover, take the 5 pips and run. As it turned out, it didn't hold. The buyers didn't step back in, as you think they would have after this big run up here with decent volume. You think they would have let it pull in a little and then stepped up to the plate again, but they didn't. It broke the figure and came in. Did we leave some on the table? Absolutely. Would it have been a very not risky trade, but it would have been a difficult trade to hold through that figure, knowing this big pop came with decent volume. If anyone held it, any of you guys out there did hold it, God bless, more power to you. Next trade here is US dollar Canadian. This we were short 1.07283. Difficult trade, you know. I don't know. We just didn't like it. It was consolidating here. You think it would hold, you know, would hold this level and pull in because you have all these bottoms. You know, when you see bottoms like this that acted as support, an old area of support usually acts as resistance or can act as resistance. It didn't, and it started to bust through it. Once it started to bust through it, we covered. We took the small loss, 5.9 pips. And you see here, look, this is just what I'm saying. Now this is another area of resistance from these tops, all the way back from the 18th of July. Tops, this area of congestion, more tops here on the 22nd. Pretty much top here on yesterday around lunch. And it holds. After it took us out, it holds that and pulls back in. So we were thinking that these would hold. Unfortunately for us it didn't, but small loss. And then Euro US dollar, this was another one while we were sleeping. We were short 1.345545. Totally in an area of congestion, consolidation. Easy trade because if it breaks this, you're going to pick up 10, 15 pips, something like that, maybe even 20 or 30 pips. You know, we were sleeping, so you're gonna set your profit. You know, we picked basically 10.5 pips thereabouts. Put our bid in to buy it because we're short for a profit. We get taken out, and you can see there as we were sleeping. This was around 2 o'clock in the morning or so. As we got taken out, it dipped all the way down into 37 or so. You're right, you couldn't buy there because that's the bid, but you know you could have bought around 30, probably about 38.5. So we definitely left it on the table. Again, we weren't sleeping. This thing could have easily, when we woke up and came into the office, thought we were going to see this actually a little lower and not this rally up. I'd have to check. I don't remember off the economic calendar. I'm sure there was something that made it pop like this. But easy trade, you know. And if you take all this spot away, you know, after we got out, you're in it. It's a really, like I said, it's a really easy trade. Tight consolidation. It's going one way or the other. It's either breaking down or popping up. So we had the signal to go short. Basically, you're gonna risk these tops. You know that if you get taken out. So what's your risk? Your risk again, 20 pips, 22 pips, whatever that number exactly is. Not a big deal at all. So totally worth the risk there. Like I said, unfortunately, it happened while we were not in the office. So we picked up the 10.5. Maybe if we were, could have picked up a little more. But that's it. So like I said, 6 trades, 4.2 pips. Really not worth it. But you know, hey, we gave it a shot, and we'll be back again. If you're waiting now for signals, they'll be coming out. If you're trading now, good luck, and we'll be back tomorrow, Monday.